League of Nations a grave disturbance. Today, Haile Selassie comes to plead for his lost empire. He wants them to make Mussolini give up Ethiopia. The Geneva crowds are for him, but the exiled emperor will need his imperturbable dignity before the day is over. British Foreign Minister Eden, Soviet Delegate Litvinov on the left, and French Premier Blum and all the statesmen, instead of helping Haile Selassie, have decided to lift the sanctions against Italy. The introduction of the emperor in English.
His Majesty Negus Haile Selassie. I call upon the first delegate of Ethiopia. The speech which you are about to hear will be given in the Amharic language.
In the shadows of the press gallery, Italian newspapermen are ready for an outbreak against the emperor whose country their country has taken, waiting for his first words.
From the platform.
Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le...
Trying to quell the disturbance, lights turned out. Again, lights out. The disturbers ejected, arrested, and he is able to make his appeal.
የሚገባውን ትክክለኛ ፍርድ ለመጠየቅ ዛሬ በዚህ ቀርቤያለሁ። ምክንያቱም ወታደሮቹ ቦምቡ በወደቀ ጊዜ ጋዙን ነፋስ እስኪወስደው ድረስ መበታተኑን ስላወቁበት ነው።
An ovation, yes, but he gets no help. The League lifts the sanctions against Italy. Applause, and that's all.
And a great wonder that happened in Ethiopia. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to read from Revelation 12. And it's about the woman Ethiopia that they classified as Israel, which is not Israel, it's Ethiopia. Ethiopia, the woman clothed with the sun under her feet. We have the emperor and the empress representing Ethiopia. We look here as I read. The woman clothed with the sun and the man-child who was born to rule. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 horns and 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Which takes us to reference 2 Daniel, the 4th beast. Daniel 7:26 note. The 10 horns are explained in Daniel 7 verse 24, Revelation 17 verse 12 to be 10 kings, and the whole vision is of the last form of Gentile world power, a confederated 10-kingdom empire covering the sphere of authority of ancient Rome.
That is the Roman world, and in their own history, I just want to show the League of Nations here. Yeah, right here. Referring to the League of Nations, how it was structured. In their own history, the house, the home of the League of Nations at Geneva, Switzerland, a unique achievement of post-war sentiments was the creation of the League of Nations on January 20th, 1919, a special commission was appointed to bring into existence an international organization. The commission consisted of 10 representatives of the great powers and 9 representatives of the smaller powers. So our league was structured according to what we read in the Bible. In the Bible's reference by the Reverend Schofield, and in their own history, the 10 heads. That's what we read. The 10 kings correspond to Imperial Rome, which we see headed up by the beast, which is the system we were discussing the last time. And these are the ones that made war against the Lamb because of his authority in the titles King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Yeah.
So before the league collapsed, right, even in its restructuring, that 10 heads are a shadow of it. It's called the NATO heads. The first, they're not really part of the United Nations, but they are there as a structure that is still
like a shadow kind of a government.
Yeah, military wise. Because they tell in the reference they have the swiftness of ancient Babylon, Greece and Rome. Yeah, so
all the might of
that is the system that betrayed Ethiopia. The 10 heads and the 7 ones are the 7 economic,
And it does plain to see 10. The Bible speaks of the 10
heads.
But then I said G7
and
too.
then
Those are the 7 ones.
see that?
The economic power.
Yeah.
And the one who have the money. Who decide the financial system. But they tell you it names them here, with Great Britain and France and all of that. Right? So they were the ones who were responsible. So when the Lion of Judah now, they betrayed his country, they are the ones who were at the heart of the betrayal. The 10 heads of the beast. Those are the ones that make the political decision in the League of Nations. So when His Majesty went there and tell them, representatives of the world who have in your charge millions of men, women and children, are you going to bow before force? Because they did bow before force.
Yes.
And in the midst of them, him tell them that. And the Bible actually revealed that if people take it for a true witness, but many have a problem with it because I would just say it's lack of ignorance, or enough ignorance, or it's lack of clarity. Because they will rather try to distort the true meaning of the Bible to prove or
disprove the truth.
Yeah, or their little political agendas or religious function without the New Testament, right? Which is what Haile Selassie represents.
Restoration.
Yeah, and as the King of Israel, standing at the league there, he's all the titles we read about in the Bible and at its coronation.
Yeah.
Especially the King of Israel, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. People try to disown that, still says he's just King of Kings of Ethiopia, and that's not exactly true.
Yeah, that's right. Because the same man that is Lion of Judah, he's the Kings of Kings and the Lion.
Yeah, this is how the games they play with the titles, so you have to be careful.
And he is the elect of that too.
Yeah. So here, I just want to go through this. We had actually talk about Zephaniah chapter 3. Tin beat Sophanias, the prophecy of Zephaniah. And this is the short form of the Amharic version. And it tells you, Igzia Bihir Indi Yelal, Tekit Tagesu. To be patient for a while, saith the Lord, until Be Inor Sulai Yimi Feridi Bet Gize Yemita. To just wait upon him for a while, have some patience until him start to bring about the judgment that is to come. Right? On the pagan people, Hazabna, and the pagan government, Mengistat. His desire is to the Andenet Asebalehu. He has the desire to bring them together, that he can Quita Yenim Isat, the inner Sulai. He wants to pour out the anger of his indignation upon them, because that's what's going to happen. We see part of it starting now, and the Quitayenim Isat Melawa Midir Tika Telalet. So the anger of the Lord, burning fire is upon the earth. But this word here, the Amharic word Quitayenim Kimunye, which is to show indignation against wrongdoers in the presence of the person whom he or they have wronged.
Right.
Here is the person here they have wronged.
Selassie.
And he's in the midst of them here, pouring out the indignation. You should hear what he actually said in the Amharic speech.
በዚህ ቀርቤያለሁ። ምክንያቱም ወታደሮቹ ቦምቡ በወደቀ ጊዜ ጋዙን ነፋስ እስኪወስደው ድረስ መበታተኑን ስላወቁበት ነው።
An ovation, yes, but he gets no help. The league lifts the sanctions against Italy. Applause, and that's all.
So that's what actual history looks like when we talk about Bible prophecy and the person who they hate. Right, who they wrong, the wrongs they did, the rebellion that they commit. His Majesty he used the word just like in the Psalms of David, Ametse and Mametse, for those who rebel against authority. The same words which is used to describe the fall of the angels, which brings us here, as he's in there, what do you call it, the diplomatic world or the advisors were telling Mussolini that by that sin fell the angels. They advised to him, which show you his arrogance, that he's above all. So how did the angels fall? Well, here again, here they are. This is November 2nd, 1930. They're falling. Because they're already rebelling against the heavenly authority. This is real stuff. Real history.
Oh, so just say, so the first, you have a set was flung out, but you have a set was hold up at a certain place until he was born crowned, and then fall out.
When did the angels first fell?
In the beginning.
Yeah. We see that in the book of Jude. They left their first estate.
Yeah,
so that was a sin. That was where His Majesty called Mametse, to rebel against government. Or the Ametse. Rebel against government authority, which is what the same thing with Satan is what he's doing.
So and something is written of that sort, that by that's the angel.
So they're giving him advice. This is a cartoon character of the day, of his actions. Led the angels astray.
So the whole thing I connect, if you know, go to the back to the picture of His Majesty in the present of the church, and crown and the angel them above falling. So now
there they are. Angel only fall when you rebel against the king. Just like in the beginning with Satan. So we see it come back down to the newly risen Roman Empire. with the beast, headed by the beast, which is the three-headed beast still. Remember, it's a partnership with a talk about.
Right, right.
The partnership mash up him, get arrested and con up on them thing there. But the residue still remains.
Right.
Which is, because when the angels fell, you're going to get false teachers on the earth.
Right.
It's where religion still goes wrong.
Yeah.
And we see it
Yeah,
today.
because they fail to see the principal person, which is
Well, they fail to even honor the word of the Lord. That,
yeah.
Because his word is what they're supposed to be telling the people, but they're not telling the people directly.
Most of the time when you see World War II documentaries, films and videos, there's a lot of parts that they miss out. Because they only mostly focus on the battlefield actions and the triumph or defeat of generals and so forth. They don't tell you how the war actually started. We have to stress on that like we did before. The war started as we read in the Bible. War against.
That's why I'm saying root to the earth.
So if Mussolini his action caused the angels to sin against who?
Haile Selassie, the god
Of
Ethiopia.
the God of gods.
God of gods, yeah.
Remember, the Duke of Aosta and all of them was there in 1913 listening to the sweet melody of the priest and chanting to the gods of gods. They were there. Sitting there.
Geographical magazine.
Yeah, they were there. And this is the history that the world, our people are still afraid of face. While some are cry out fascism is in the world today, then why? Because of that.
Yeah, because them turn away from his teaching to and allow back that which the Lord abhor,
He gave mercy.
Yeah.
He said mercy, and he says, let us now go again and celebrate in that spirit. But we see that they were plotted.
Just like we read in the second Psalms.
Blessed be God, we shall soon be more.
Because them raging, nothing can satisfy them rage.
And all of this thing is to hide Haile Selassie and works and who he is. Is that all the war we see going is.
We thank God for the written history that Ethiopia is the one that kept the history. Because outside of that, you're not getting straight truth.
Alright? That is the thing. You're not getting straight truth. And nobody wants to be honest, even when you think that they would be honest.
Right.
None of them is actually
After all
honest.
them went through.
Because what happened here at the league, some of it we want to read through and frame all that discussion still. So here we have, I'm going to read, frame our narrative around the 68 Psalms, the person who is at the League of Nations, and how it affects the world. How all that what he said at the League was not begging, because I've seen documentaries where they show His Majesty at the League of Nations, and then a couple of minutes down in the video, them show him leaving Ethiopia and claim that he's fleeing. When they already show you that very same picture, they have him speaking in the League of Nations. That means he was there before, so they might try to put a counter spin on that. But His Majesty at the League of Nations, he went there under the power of the 68 Psalms. And we just want to read what actually happened inside the League of Nations. So So there is this book, The Rise and Fall of the League of Nations, which is so here. You can see the range.
Can you see?
Yeah, Rise and Fall of the League of Nations by George Scott. The large volume still. But you have this chapter in there called The Very Midsummer Madness. So he stated that the world heard the ominous prophetic question of the emperor. Are the states going to set up the terrible precedent of bowing before force? At the invitation of the president, the slight diminutive figure made his way to the rostrum. He was wearing white with a dark silk cloak flowing from his shoulders. The harsh lights of the Newsreel cameraman revealed the sharp Semitic features above the black beard. The conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, Haile Selassie I, elect of the Lord, Emperor of Ethiopia, was about to address the assembly. The date was June 30th, 1936. So the conquering lion of Judah is actually, you read in the book of Revelation, right? And the name Haile Selassie I is the power of the Holy Trinity, first power of the Trinity. And he is the elect of the Lord, the Emperor of Ethiopia. Right? But they remark of his Semitic identity, which you see here, Mr. Billy Graham. People always want to oppose that. So the Semitic identity, as we always say, it's Ethiopian, it's not Jewish, it's not Ashkenazi, it's Ethiopian, and we are the people that carry the things of the Lord. Yeah, even in our restoration from slavery. We're not finished with that yet. Still, we're going to go through it through the Kebra because the 318 Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox fathers declared that the Emperor of Ethiopia is the King of Zion and the firstborn seed of Shem. And we're going to clear that up because people who are not of that lineage, not of that bloodline, but are of the Canaanite lineage, I've seen them put up them DNA. It says Canaanite. Right, just like the other ones, Canaanite place. So that's our Ethiopian identity, which they cannot have. So as the emperor began to speak, there was an outburst of whistles and catcalls and shouts of murderer, slaver, and bandit. They came from what the Times described as a brawling clique of Italian journalists. Defying regulations, other journalists in the press gallery and people in the public gallery countered with loud applause. The Romanian delegate, Titulescu, called upon the Belgian president to silence the rabble. But Zealand banged his gravel on the table. But it was the police who restored order by removing the fascist journalists who struggling and kicking to the accomplishment of cheers. Throughout the incident, such as the League had never before experienced, Haile Selassie, the first head of state to address the assembly, remained impassive. His speech was a long one, delivered in Amharic, a language none of the other delegates understood, and translated into French and English. So Amharic is the language, right, which is a sticking point for those who claim to have an Hebrew speech. Amharic is the Hebrew vernacular and the national language of Christian Ethiopia. And it is called the language of the king, Haile Selassie, or the language of time immemorial. And we're going to give you some Amharic Hebrew letters, the language of Hebor. So that is the language he used. It is also called, the language itself is also called the Sword of Selassie in the prayers, like those 7 Amharic prayers and the daily prayer, the Zubiter Salat. So I asked the 52 nations, said the emperor, Not to forget today the policy upon which they embarked 8 months ago, and on the face of which I directed the resistance of my people against the aggressor whom they had denounced to the world. His indictment of the League was all the more effective for the dignity with which it was delivered. I was defending the cause of all small nations who are threatened with aggression. The Ethiopian government never expected other governments to shed their blood, or soldiers' blood, to defend the covenant when their own immediate personal interests were not at stake. Ethiopian warriors asked only for the means to defend themselves. On many occasions I have asked for the financial and assistance for the purchase of arms.
And the war purchase $10 million.
Yeah, and we always have to keep in mind that Ethiopia is a member of the
League of Nations, yes.
Which they actually don't really tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I never hear them actually tell you that.
Right.
For all the small documentary, they don't tell shit. But Ethiopia was the 53rd member of the League of Nations, the only African country in there. So, His Majesty now, we'll soon come down to it. In a word, it is international morality that is at stake, which we see them trying to come to grips with today. Haile Selassie's words match the occasion all too well. In his conclusion, he asks questions which none could answer with an easy conscience. Questions which were to have their tragic echoes in the years ahead. God and history will remember your judgment, placed by the aggressor face to face with the accomplished fact. Our nation's going to set up a terrible precedent of bowing before force. Representative of the world, I have come to Geneva to discharge in your midst the most painful of the duties of the head of state. What reply shall I have to take back to my people? Manchuria has been the first great test of the League, and it had failed. That failure undoubtedly influenced the future course of events, encouraging the belief that if a nation were strong enough and ruthless enough, it could get away with aggression. But the League could have survived Manchuria. It was impossible to make all manner of excuses for inactions at that time. And while most of them were poor excuses, they could be assembled to argue plausibly that Manchuria represented a special case. It was impossible to say the same about Ethiopia. There was more than enough time to prevent the invasion of Ethiopia ever happening at all. Even after it, the means existed to force Italy to call off its aggression. It was the supreme and crucial test for the League of Nations. Pass it, and the League would demonstrate that the new system of international law and order was not only a desirable ideal, but an essential practical one. Fail it, and the fate of mankind in a better way of running the world must collapse.
And that's what people do, it collapse.
Where we see it happening right now. So that's, Ethiopia was the test. They couldn't ignore that. The world knew what was at stake. Eden had delineated the dangers at the Council. Many countries declared their formal readiness to stand by the League at its moment of great challenge. From all over Europe came the manifestation of faith in the League and support for the necessary action to defend its authority. echoed and reinforced the resolution of the British people as demonstrated in the peace ballad. It is easy now to be skeptical about the real value of those declarations. To question whether those who subscribe to them had really considered what consequences of collective action against Italy might be. The national government had won the election, that is the British government, with a very substantial majority. Now the elections were behind them. They no longer felt the need to pretend. The British people gave their confidence to those who proclaimed their dedication to the League and collective security. To solid Stanley Baldwin, to Neville Chamberlain, that epitome of straight dealing, who spoke with a depth of passion about the shame that would fall upon generation after generation of English men and women if Britain were to betray Ethiopia. And I've been being a resident there and looking at what I'm seeing now on the video about England going down, England mash up, they show you a Blackpool, they show you a lot of places that echoes this prophecy.
Sentiment, because he did say generation since they took that.
Sentiment or prophecy?
Prophecy. They call it prophecy because that man said prophetically, he in their midst what he had said to them.
You see some of the videos.
Yeah. It's like a prophecy. Not like it's a prophetical thing that he said to stay them from getting to that point of generation.
If they were to betray Ethiopia,
yeah,
which they did.
Yeah.
And England, after that government, Neville Chamberlain, when he fell, when that government fell because of that same action, Winston Churchill took over, and
they didn't honor the covenant they made. You see, and to me it's like they didn't honor it, that knowing said that the Lord of Lords put his signature there too.
And so did you.
Yeah. So it's not just Una alone who made this signature and thing with the Lion of Judah. And he's gonna try and he will make you honor.
They wrote the covenant and put forth their hand again.
Yeah.
That was a piece of them.
And in England after that, it seemed she still insisted to play that role. So you see, she stated the prophetic declaration is that it's going to happen to you because you haven't given up. You haven't the spirit of Christ. You're still doing the underhanded things. And bound before the forces, not remembering what happened there at the League and World War II, and that you have to come back to the Majesty in a sense to what's his name?
Churchill.
No, but saying come to the Majesty.
No, it's Churchill's name.
Okay, so Churchill. So they come back and they realize that things are happening, that the Majesty word is true.
Well, that's why they were to fight her. They never actually believed. I read an article by Herbert Thompson when he said that when His Majesty was saying these things at the League, they didn't believe that the war would start.
Right.
They thought he was just talking and you would have a world war.
But I guess he had said some things to them that they may not declare too, because he says they must remember how accurate the warning was, how accurate that means, like on point. So,
Was it that he mentioned also when he said they must be careful that the fate would happen to the
Yeah, well, that is a part of what he was saying.
yeah, be careful. You know, he is a voice of conscience, of reason. Be careful the same thing what take the people and
The tower,
you know, so
Yeah, that
prophetically, him always I tell them thing in prophet because the prophet, being that prophet that he is, as part of what he does too, he prophesies things so that you can know ahead. So if you do this, this is going to happen. But if you don't believe his word,
well, you see, the moral of the issue is that they didn't believe Haile Selassie. They always say that claims to be this and claims to be that, and they never recognize who he is. That's part of why the war was fought.
but you know, so they never know. The heads of government knew him.
They all know well.
And they know who he is.
They can use some words though to really show you off when in sense is a really good word, is a really true word, like the word claim, because a lot of people are saying claim, like if you lose something or when you go for a claim, you claim it. At the legal nation, he say come to claim justice. I mean, they're not even him come. I mean, he is the person of justice, so come fit click. I don't know.
No, but when him talking about himself, when them say that, them use the word in a negative.
No, but he said claim because he in the Bible prophesy of someone who to come of kings and lord of lords. So who come and claim that title? Who that title fall upon?
But you see,
That's why they never recognize this claim.
No,
Yes.
they never recognize this claim.
Yeah, because they make the claim non-effective.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. They make it look like claims is a word that it not fit in.
What are them? What is action?
You know, but if you ask your thing and when you go there, you take what the word you use, you come to claim your stuff that even justice you can see belongs to him, times and come to claim it. Is I mean,
But
they
you
give it to
know,
them and then they
we
really
understand the
know
word.
how to deal with it, so he come to claim back. All
It's
these
like
things.
we understand the
Yeah,
word.
you have to claim
He
it.
come
Yeah.
to claim, you know.
Who else is going to do it?
But it's a word that can show off the person,
untrained mind.
right, and the person who really ready to say I know him.
No, it's because, and that is because of the way them tell it.
Yeah.
This is what
Them
show the intention inside in
Yes,
the sentence.
it's
So
in
when
there.
them say,
Like,
them claim,
yeah.
the way them frame it in the
Yeah.
sentence, according to the narrative, you make it look like you go
I know
one.
him,
Yeah, you can wonder about it if I him or not.
Make you get a what? With like the word beg. They make beg to be a denotation of something like on your knees. You envision that, you know, for a mind that don't understand spirit, you're going to think him go on his knees and bawl and cry. No, him pleading in that word.
With them
there,
to save the nation.
Yeah.
I beg you, I plead with you.
But then, so the scripture, who even passing those remarks, don't they read even Psalms 35 a lot of times and other
So
verses that
them don't have a clear
plead my
conscience.
cause, oh
Yeah,
God.
so them don't have a
So
clear
how will
conscience.
Lord plead your cause then?
So them don't have a clear conscience. It only fits when it serves them.
Then,
Yeah.
When it comes to make clear the line of Judah,
true that.
them bring doubt.
Yeah, then bring down.
So see, he is the object of doubt,
Yeah.
Yes.
and that proves that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? He becomes the object of doubt, and that's Satan's target.
Well, again, here's Neville Chamberlain. You can see that with the British PM, buddy old pals, yeah, all their Rome and England, buddy old pals. Chamberlain said it wasn't worth saving a country far away, full of mud dogs, the relationship with Benito Mussolini. But he had fell by their own actions after England gave away. Not only did they betray Ethiopia, they gave away Czechoslovakia and promised them that they wouldn't, the Fuhrer was not going to take any more land, That's why he signed that peace and went out and proclaimed peace in the world. That's what England did. It's a shame to talk about. Some might try to make excuses, but England wanted to save their empire. He knew that the Germans were coming back for the places like Tanzania, Togo, Southwest Africa, even South Africa. You know, with the British take from them, they know he wouldn't be coming back for that. But his government fell in disgrace. And when the age of appeasement was over, that would be in 1940.
Right.
9 October 1940. The Germans invade Poland in 1939. While the Chamberlain government was still in power. But by October 1940, when Winston Churchill took over, he sent the Major Orly Wingate to His Majesty in the Sudan. Yeah, in the Sudan, not at Bath here, in the Sudan. And Major Wingate said, I just want to read 2 parts here. I bring you most respectful greetings, sire, and my warm personal admiration. In 1935, 52 nations let you and your country down. That act of aggression led to this war.
That's his apology.
Yeah. Led to the Second World, this war, Second World War. That act of aggression, not when Hitler invaded Poland or marched into Czechoslovakia, not when
But that's what that's all those stuff?
yeah, that the aggression against His Majesty,
Yeah.
which is what the Bible said.
The backlash.
Yeah.
And it could be, he never put pamper on it, but he then didn't listen to it.
But he told them that in 36,
Yeah.
that to strike the match in Ethiopia and Europe will burn. So it's 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So long for them to realize that they didn't believe that the war would actually start. They gave away Czechoslovakia to appease Hitler again, and then
And he wanted more.
foolish peace fell apart that the British had made. So the largest war in human history began with Ethiopia. The trials of the the League of Nations to pass the test in front of the King of Kings. And they failed. That's why the world went to war. And that spirit of failure always plagued human government. They brought the spirit of failure into the United Nations after the war.
And he alone keeping covenant and mercy, man. He alone. All of them fail.
Well, that's why we see the world, many the conflicts that we are hearing today. I hear the same sentiments being echoed about morality and flaunting international law. You have those who think they are above international law, just like Mussolini, just like the ones today. Right? Because that same spirit that caused the angels to fall, they fell to the earth.
Right.
Right.
And it's people know to overcome the fallen angels' advice, which is geared to war.
Well,
And it's funny, you can see, even studying, a little bit that I studied, I can see that even after he gave the olive branch through the mercy proclamation, they never changed their ways. Because they've been doing these little wars to make a big war, to complete something, I don't know. But see, we here today, so much war going on, and some of them you hear them sometimes you don't hear them, they're still festering here. And always at that point.
well, it's only one animal have carried the word pride. on the earth, and he's the lion.
You know,
And he's the lion of Judah. And if you don't have the lion of Judah pride, then a false pride, don't it?
Yeah.
Because I the only animal with the pride, I the only man with the pride, and if I don't feel
and the
pride,
pride meaning family, you know, mean pride in spirit.
well, if you don't have his pride in spirit to a false pride, so you make this spirit idle, so it start from
But
within.
man use pride to me like Mussolini. No, you know that big up chest, that long.
Well, that is the pride that all the angels fall.
And that's how he fought.
Yeah, same way. So there's no difference between him and Satan and even the biblical description.
Yeah.
Pride was the fall of Satan,
But you
was
remember
the fall of
we
Mussolini.
I remember we see the little cartoon thing they did with him opening the cesspool or the pit. And then say him open it.
The demon of war he let loose.
Yeah.
That's what he let loose.
Jaja.
You know, so this is an issue that, you know, it might sound distant or boring, but all that happened there at the League of Nations, even after the war, things that were set still is what we're seeing and feeling the consequences today of not following the advice of His Imperial Majesty.
Yeah.
They just didn't follow his advice.
No.
Why didn't we looking for something that already the prophetic passage from Ezra that talk about the scene that happened around in the 30s when His Majesty went to the League and all that was happening there. And it was Esdras, second Esdras, chapter 11. Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her, and were gathered together. I beheld, and out of her feathers there grew other contrary feathers, and they became little feathers and small.
Yeah.
But our heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet rested it with the residue. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers, and reigned upon earth, and over them that dwelt therein. And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her, no, not one creature upon earth. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talons, and spake to her feathers, saying, and if you notice upon Mussolini's cap, the eagle is upon her upon his talons. How does have doing things with and they're kind of decorated that way.
Yes, yes.
And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talons, and spoke to her feathers, saying, watch not all at once, sleep everyone in his own place, and which by course, but let the heads be preserved for the last. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. And I numbered her contrary feathers, and behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose 1 feather, and reigned over all the earth. And so it was, that when it reigned, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeared no more. So the next following stood up, and reigned, and had a great time. And it happened that when it reigned, the end of it came also, and like as the first, so that it appeared no more. Then came there a voice up unto it, and said, hear thou that hast borne rule over the earth so long. This I say unto thee, before thou beginnest to appear no more, there shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither unto the half thereof. So that must be Rome, because none enjoy the length of time like Rome. Then arose the third, and reigned as the other before, and appeared no more also. So went it with all the residue one after another. As that everyone reigned, and then appeared no more. Then I beheld, and lo, in process of time the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, that they might rule also. And some of them ruled, but within a while they appeared no more as well. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body, but 3 heads that rested, and 6 little wings. Then saw I also that 2 little feathers divided themselves from the 6, and remained under the head that was upon the right side, for the 4 continued in their place. And I beheld, and lo, the feathers that were under the wing thought to set up themselves, and to have the rule. And I beheld, and lo, there was one set up, but shortly it appeared no more. And the second was sooner away than the first. And I beheld, and lo, the 2 that remained thought also in themselves to reign. And when the soul thought, behold, there awaked one of the heads that were at rest, namely it that was in the midst, for that was greater than the 2 other heads. And then I saw that the 2 other heads were joined with it. And behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and did eat up the 2 feathers under the wing, that they would have reigned. But this head put the whole earth in fear, and be a rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth, and much oppression. And it had the governance of the world. Not too many people or nations have that, so it's very significant. You can point them out.
Yeah.
It had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. And after this I beheld, and lo, the land that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings. But there remained the 2 heads, which also in like sort rule upon the earth, and over those that dwell therein.
So
I won't read the whole thing still.
does that
Okay, I'll read up to the line. Hold on. It comes up here. And I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was upon the left side. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, Look before thee, and consider the thing that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion, chased out of the wood. And I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle, and said, Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee.
Yes.
Yeah, who is that? Right in the midst of the eagles.
Yes.
No, we know. Right now we know the eagles are the nations then that assemble the European Confederation of Nations. The wings and feathers are speak of them in some sort or the other.
Also, the Arab nations.
Let me just finish it here. Here thou I will talk with thee, and the highest himself shall say unto thee, not thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts? That's Daniel.
Yeah.
Right? Whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them. And the 4th came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled, and therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor nor the horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious head, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy ruined body, that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. Now we understand?
Yeah, and the her is...
No, that's very plain.
Yeah.
But to give it a more comprehensive look, you have to study European history, the Roman world, the eagle and the different states and power heads.
So, was it during the prophecy, does it have anything to do with that the beast gave, when it says give one power?
No, it's a part of it, but this specifically points to the nation them
Being assembled.
that carries the eagle.
Oh,
You have certain nations, even on their standard bearer, you will see an eagle, this lone survival one, gripping the earth.
Yes.
They're the ruler of the earth. And this one here, he ruled both on the earth, under the earth, and above the earth. He's the strongest of them, the strongest one of the eagle.
So the highest himself is
This is the lion that roars from the forest. He's the Most High.
Yeah.
And that this is why they take out the booklet from the Bible still.
Yes.
Because it gives you a
You
real
cannot miss.
descriptive.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows the European history,
Yes.
Yeah, you want to know.
easy to see.
Yeah.
Some of the double-headed eagle.
And the plucking off.
That's
of
the
them
wars
and the
that they were
rising
been
up.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the part of there actually described the Franco-Prussian War.
Yes, I got
To be the head, who's going to be the head of Europe. And that comes down to Adolf and all of them.
Yes.
But they all have the wings of the eagle. You see it on their military uniform.
Yes.
So this is why we have to study and learn the world, what we live in now, all the decisions and things that they thought about, and the warnings of His Majesty, not just at the League, but at the United Nations. All these were ignored, and that's why the world is, because that is still part of it in there. They love liars. We see today the TV screen full of lies. People using the name Israel, which is the name of our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, the said one.
Yeah, and you know, making the name Israel look like a lie. You know, see it?
Yeah. And the other name of Israel out there like it's an...
Yeah, but wasn't it the same king of Israel that was before the League of Nations?
Yeah, the same
when
one.
he addressing them. So what different now? What's the difference now? In this time now, is not he still the king of Israel?
No,
Yeah, the God of gods.
No difference.
Yeah.
You don't have two of that.
Hosanna, and that was one of the things they said to him at the
Coronation.
Yeah, where the geographical magazine they record Hosanna up to the King of Israel. They said he's the king that coming.
Yeah, like that plainly.
Yeah.
Straight out of the Bible.
Yeah, and straight in our history.
Straight in our history.
Another thing we want to sort out, His Majesty was crowned on the imperial motto of the 68 Psalms, which is also,
On that golden cross.
it's on the golden cross. It's also, how could I put it? It's the national psalms of the Ethiopians. Right. Our reggae music usually call out for the children of Ethiopia. You remember that music, the melody when come Ethiopians come.
I have a message for you. But whenever Zion Gate is open,
Right.
let's see one
But if you want to know the truth, you got to read for yourself in the Bible, from Genesis to John. Now you have reached Revelation. Come Ethiopians come.
But we don't know no other gate. All of a sudden they have all kind of gate we have to go through. And
Well,
this is the gate. Zion Gate. And the Lord will make the gates of Zion.
But the peace is powerful that way because him have the power. The
Deception.
Yeah. And if you say something, as them say in this word, if you say it long and hard, people start to believe it, because everybody getting the same propaganda. How are you to escape?
Well, that's the same propaganda that they inherited from
Yeah,
Goebbels effect.
yeah.
But I just want to show, because you see, in the King James version of the 68th Psalm, it says Ethiopia soon. Right, and that is a contention, so that is a wrong translation. In the Amharic translation, it says Ethiopia quickly. In the British, it says Ethiopia stretch forth your hands unto God, which is what is on His Majesty's coronation medallion. So the Amharic 68th Psalm is called the Dilmes Nua, or the Song of Victory. And there's, before I read the Amharic one, I found 5 examples of mistranslation of the Psalms. And I'll just read out what they say. The first one is envoys will come from Egypt. Cush will submit herself to God. That's from the New International Version, Bible Society, Zondervan Corporation, 1973. Second example, let bronze be brought from Egypt. Let Ethiopia hasten to stretch out its hand. No, it's not her, you know. Its hand to God. And that's from the New Revised Standard, 1989. Thomas Nelson Incline, National Council of Churches of China and the USA.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a bond they've made.
It's the same, as in the same translation is in the New Oxford 1973 version. The third example is ambassadors will come from Egypt. The Sudanese will raise their hands in prayer to God. And that comes from today's English and Chinese versions, which are the product of the American Bible Society, 1966 to 1976.
Wow.
So right in the feast of the Majesty, them doing that.
Them doing that.
Hey, pay attention.
That's what I
Tell them
was
doing
going to
it.
say.
Yeah.
In
What
the,
them doing now?
in the fourth example, let Egypt come with gifts of precious metals. Let Ethiopia bow in submission to
You
God.
see how far them gone?
The New International Version.
Wow.
The fifth example, princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch forth her hands unto God. And this
That
is
means said
from
already yet.
the King James
Very soon.
version of 1933. This version is used by many of the black churches and religious groups in the Caribbean.
Look at that.
It is also extensively used by many Rastafarians in their organizations as recommended by their leaders, who did not recognize the benefit of learning to read the Amharic language.
So you have.
What about the one from Guelph? Them one they say Ethiopia quickly. That's the only one that translates like that. So big up Guelph and them translate.
Yeah, I
the
did put that in there.
The Gideon Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one. I was known it's the only one who have it just like the
Like the Amharic translation.
Yeah, so that means them receive that and the rest refuse to. Why would they do that?
What does the word quickly mean? It's not like we're waiting for
No,
something.
present time. It means a present time.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
need it. Because you see, we have to bring up Guelph, yes, because that little red Bible there.
Well, remember the 50 church attendants that came from Guelph.
Yeah.
Church organization.
Yeah,
50 of them came in a bus and came to ask us about the flag and about our Rastafarian culture.
And His
And
Majesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
came
come from
from
Guelph. Same
They
way.
kept that.
And the Quran that
Yeah.
you got.
Yeah, so they get it from the same.
Make them see it, show them it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Show them it.
True.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah, because that's where you have smart Canadians. Not,
And he was
yeah,
pregnant.
for them to know that. And I know that you have professors out there that can read.
Remember, His Majesty was, His Majesty is a part of Canadian history, you know, in 1967.
More than what them try for
Yeah,
sure.
more than what them try to show.
But what them sure is twisting up his word, trying to twist up his words, slur him when talking and these things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that car.
That's from Guelph, eh?
Yeah. What the man said was,
This is a crack.
He was in Somalia.
United Nations he was working through.
Or United Nations he was in.
Yeah. And he was in Somalia. I don't remember the whole story, yeah.
Yes, the Asian,
well, okay.
Asian, yes,
So we see how them mistranslate our national songs,
And
which
take
I
it-
am
and
disappointed
even
and
taking-
angry.
And taking it back to those Ethiopians that took off the crow and make it be soon by
But I can see
like-
why all the Chinese them go there and go on so.
Yeah,
Like to them to submit to them.
yeah. Now we get more.
I saw one organization that actually used the Sudanese version. But that's all.
But it's not submit Ethiopia, submit Ethiopia's hands is with God already.
Yes.
She's not without God, her hands is with God. That's,
Yeah.
And it was that way from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not submit. You don't need no submission there. So that's a wrong.
Can I say this, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. This is a Haile Selassie's coronation medallion. Here is the same thing. Ethiopia Tabetse Idawiya Habe Ixiabe here. So that is the 68 songs. Same thing we have up here.
You can give
This
it. Give it to
belongs to our Imperial Majesty, and it's around a 3 concentric circle.
Give it to me.
Yeah, with his name, his initials are on that. It isn't there. Those versions are wrong. This is why people need to read the Amharic 68 Psalms. That will solve so many problems. But the motto, Ethiopia Tabetse Idawiya Habe Ixiak here, it belongs to Haile Selassie only, right? And no guy or church or group not supposed to use it without his face on it, you see? His face, the 3 concentric circle, the name of the Holy Trinity is stylized in there like a tablet. This is like a representative of a tablet, right? Like the ark. So we know, that's why all them people in Africa not go on some, because of those translations. And then you have the Rastafarians who don't want to uphold all of this, but going by what Schofield say and all of that, because I find a lot of his references them problematic.
Yeah.
Because I studied history. They taught me the history of the Roman world. I lived in London, Ontario. Yeah, I went to school there. That's the history they teach. Right? That's why it was easier for me to recognize that chapter in Ezra. Because you see all these things over there. But the 68 Psalms is called the Song of Victory. And it's at that time when the lion is addressing the eagle and its confederacy, its 10-head confederacy.
You're plainly see that.
Yeah, that's when the victory starts.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, for some of our people, they didn't believe in his victory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had and it's there at that period that I trace back to when the shame and afraid of Ethiopia began, as we see in Isaiah chapter 20, as many would come during that period of tribulation to say him not gonna make it, him should give it up.
Yes.
Follow that. But in the 68 Psalms, the Amharic 68 Psalms, just to show you, say, those are the versions they are incorrect.
Of course they are. They need revision, as the Majesty says.
The Ethiopia Tabetse, like what is on our class motto, Ethiopia tabitsi idawi habe exabir. That is from his instruction, in inscription. The same one that is on his coronation medallion. And this comes from the Adamic covenant. And it was made because of the serpent in the garden. And fulfilled in Revelation 12 again, and the serpent rise, what you are reading, to devour the child and his mother, which is the nation, Ethiopia.
Yeah, and the dragon is the same serpent from the beginning.
Yeah, so
the age-old problem.
And as you were saying, Israel is not a woman. Israel is the king. Yeah. Ethiopia is the woman.
Yes.
Psalms 87. That's why it's up there. And even in the church's illustration, here it is. Psalms 87 is written here. With Ethiopia, this man was born there, and the Highest himself shall establish her. Yeah, her meaning Ethiopia. With Ethiopia, this man was born there, and the Highest himself shall establish her. So they need to get school feel on them one day. Just like how when I found this with Billy Graham, black people are the descendants of Shem. So the reason why they want to take that away from Ethiopia and us is because they want to pretend that they're the people of God.
Well, the Lord did
They
tell
don't
us.
have no Semitic
But
ancestry.
the Lord show us that, something about take your inheritance or your birthright.
Well, they Daniel described it perfectly in the 11th chapter. But the Amharic 68 Psalms, as we, reggae music tell you part of it about let God arise and let all his enemies be scattered. Igziabihir yenesal tilatuchinim yibetinal yimi tilutinim hulu tishenfao kefito yesheshalu. Let God arise, let all his enemies be scattered. So this is framed around His Majesty in the midst of the enemies. Beno in the miyalik is Yohanalo, sim with the isatsi in the mikilit. Kifu chimke exabir feet yetefalo. So let them be consumed and perish as the smoke that rises up, as wax that melt in the presence of the continuous blazing fire. So let the wicked be destroyed and vanish from before him.
Yeah. Melt like butter against sun.
Okay. 68, the God of the 68 Psalms. Amlakachin yemi yaden amlak no. Kemot yemi tadekin amlak here no. He that is our God. Yeah, our God, not everybody's God. Yeah, Amlakachin, our God. He that is our God is the God of salvation. The Lord is the God that delivers and saves us from the dangers of death. You know who he is? That, yeah, our God is the God of salvation.
Yeah.
So if everybody said them not believe in the Savior, that's all right with me, because he's not their God. The gods of the nations are idols. As the prize of Selassie point out to you. All of them in Africa, Asia, America, Europe, the gods of the nations are idols. And that's the facts. But our God, the Israel Tadege, yeah, the one who rescues us from
death.
the dangers of death, and he's the God of our salvation. Yeah.
Well, like David said in the Psalms, daily we would, they would swallow you up if it wasn't for the Lord. So, many a times things could befall us. But it is Him that saves us from these things.
Amlak Hoy. Yidil Adaragineti, Silif Behulum Yitayal, Yene Negus Yihonao, Amlak Bekebora Jebwede Mekdesu Sigeba Yitayal. So our, oh God, everyone has seen thy victory, thy army and the order of battle. They have seen my God and my King being escorted by a guard of honor, entering into his sanctuary.
Praise be to God.
So during this psalm here, the 68 Psalms cover the war era still. And when you see them showing you all those Ethiopian soldiers, what them call Haile Selassie's ragtag army, you like those Armenians there.
Yeah, they're not ragtag.
They're not ragtag army, because in the 68 Psalms, just like how it show you who our God is, it also show you who these soldiers are. There's a thing called in my parade.
Yes.
When they were passing him, there's a book that describes this. So it tells you in verse 26 of the 68 Psalms. Ben Maria Kehulum Tanash Yihonao, Yeben Yeman Neged Taye, Kedlom Ye Yehuda Meriwut, Kene Cheferocha Chow Tayu, Be Mechari Sham Yezebelamna, Yenaftalem Meriwut, Tiketel. So at first, all the of little Benjamin is seen. Next to follow are the leaders of Judah marching at the head with their body of troops. Assembled in battle order are seen. And finally the leaders of the tribes of Zebulun and the leaders of the tribes of Nephthalim followed after.
So that's the 12 tribes of Israel there.
Yeah, that's what we see on the parade. That man, what's the man name again? McLean, Robinson McLean, who wrote John Hoy, My Parade.
Oh, yeah.
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 When he said he was watching His Majesty.
Yes.
So how come they say the Israelites last then? Is that if they describe it right there, and they say the 12 tribes are last?
No, we are not lost. We were never lost. We were in
68 Psalm tell us they were a part of them there?
Yeah.
Yeah, in battle order, because this is wartime here. Right? The 68 Psalms is about the war, is about his coronation, and it's about our redemption, which they are trying to stop. So they don't want to make us up.
Yeah, the rise of the brown people, of the colored people.
Yeah.
Fear the rise of the colored people.
Yeah.
The Israelites and fear the just like David said, they want to stop us from being a nation. It didn't have no parallel in the history where you see that people they where you see when it concern that people at that time. It's where you're reading of the Bible.
Them together.
But it's where you're reading of the Bible, because history only show you what the Bible says still.
Right.
Everything in history is what the Bible recorded down. Things of importance still.
Right.
Yeah, and we are the captives, His Majesty says, slaves were brought from Ethiopia. I said those slaves the years and come for return them.
That's why they
and join them with the rest Israelite brethren. With the rest Israelite brethren you read about up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just read it.
Oh, okay.
The tribes of Zabulon and so forth.
They're the ones in the parade.
In that parade that we see on it's them.
I read some place where it even tell you said the horses, I guess, with the people was on.
We see them in the parade.
Yeah.
John Horse parade.
In Revelation, the armies in heaven were on white horses.
Yeah, we see them one too.
Yeah.
And he led them on a white horse and a white charger.
And the honor guards that followed them. And the drumming. But here in verse 30 of the Amharic 68 Psalms, in the Aure Beshen Bekowuch, Wustiyamit Norun Gibitzin Getsat, Korma Wuchina, Tija Wuch, Yemisa Salutin Mingis Tat Getsat Chow, Hulum Tenberike Cow, Berachum Iskia Korbuli, Diris Getsat Chow. Or net madrig, imi felagutinim, his botch, betinacho. rebuke the cruel and inhumane people who dwell among the papyrus in Egypt, like wild beasts. Rebuke the nations and their rulers who fashion themselves as gods in the likeness of bulls, but they never prosper. Rebuke them until they all arrive in thy presence in fear, on bended knees, with their offering of silver. Break up and scatter all the people who desire and delight in war. So that's why he's there to rebuke them, because here's the Amharic 31st verse. Yisalam melik teniot kegibits yimetalu Ethiopian fetena ijochwan with the Ixabir Tizareo Galech. Emissaries shall bring peace from Egypt. That's what it actually says. Yisalam melik teniot kegibits yimetalu. They came from Egypt. Ambassadors, emissaries of peace. Some of it, prince and princesses, that's other translation. The embassy, they came with peace because they're getting rebuked here in the 30th verse, the company of warmen. So they had to come with peace because they see the judgment of the Lord coming. That's why. So finally, verse 34, Yesil Arat, Amlakin Haile Auju, Mikiniatum Garmau be Israel Hailum Besimai Laino. Proclaim the power of God, because his majesty and glory is over Israel, and his power is above the heavens. So that is the God of Israel. Actually, it tells us that he was born of the fountains of Jacob, or the seed of Jacob.
And he was
it's our
born
history.
to rule.
Yeah, it's our history. He's our God, the God of salvation. He's the Savior of the world, but he's our God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
No, like his majesty before the league.
Yeah.
It's our God.
Yeah.
That he's saving the world, and not just for him alone, but for all small nations and all humanity.
Yeah, our God. Amlakachin is our God. Amlake is my God. Yeah.
Well, the language tells even when it says Ixabir, father of the nation,
And the victory began there, but they didn't believe him. They waited from 36, 37, 38, 39, 4 years.
For them to get it.
Yeah, and they thought it was a phony war. They call that period the phony war. Yeah, but they knew, but they were wondering and they were fear. War, that is the rumors. There was war, the nation rise up against the nation, and the rumors that follows. Because His Majesty was there, the league was getting tested.
Yeah.
And he would come back to be the moral founder of the League of the United Nations, to go through the same process of nation building, universal brotherhood then, or what they call the family of man. Yeah, the United Nations is supposed to be known as the family of man. That's one of the original motto for it.
Yeah, Adam's restoration.
Yeah, I read it in one of His Majesty's speech. He referred to it as that. They don't.
Yeah.
They claim the UN this and the UN that.
Of people.
Yeah, it's the family of man where you solve your disputes and things as a family.
Yeah. And plan things for the betterment of your nation.
And the first thing to do that is to put away war.
Will he warn them again? Did he give them another
war must be erased from your mind.
And until the philosophy that I'm gonna tell you again, you bow before force over there, so till you have to pay for it, generation. Him come and him tell you to stay the generational
well, is this the world faced with now? But is this them faced with now? Because you can see the racism you know, it's being addressed. Well, them starting to address them facts there.
Yeah.
Because it's on the internet, like, you know, like it's out there. And all those same issues there, they're coming to light.
Same thing still
Yeah, so
there.
this sword is being revealed.
Yeah. Because we could see even when the emperor traveled through all of these nations and counsel them, they still did ever have one war like America want to, you know, and Russia and all of that.
They haven't got it yet.
And they still don't get it. They think they can't, well, you know, they're listening to the liars.
I'm saying it's only when war is removed from the minds of
Yes.
man. Then and then,
To settle this
instead,
dispute.
then and then only will war cease. So
Yeah.
until them get it out of their minds.
And they
and
won't.
stop
Because they hear the word 7 deadly sin, then break the first law. You know, like don't love the Lord thy God, don't envy anything that your neighbor have. You know, these things that
And then it's God and history. Well,
yeah, exactly. So it comes down to that.
you remember.
And he'll be the judge.
Well, I would say for our people, they need to come under the 68 Psalms.
Yeah.
Forget about Roman Catholicism, Pentecostalism, or any kind of form of Western Christianity. Because it's all, look how they translate the 68 Psalms. And you are going to sit amongst them people, eh?
Well,
When them notes are not so it go. You think so them no notes are not so it
I
go?
go, I'm sure you know.
they know. Nobody can say.
The coronation medallion, the news of the coronation is the 68 Psalms.
Yeah, and they got one each
Yeah.
representative that came.
Yeah, they were there.
They got one
Our
to take
stuff
back.
was there.
Yeah.
So they knew they were doing a wrong translation.
Yeah.
As they say in the face of the king.
Yeah, that them do, right in them face.
Yeah.
And he just
Enough things
him just bear well, he just bears the history.
Enough things.
It's him watching the history.
Ignoring.
Him keeps the history.
Yeah, but when you point out them things to certain Rastafarians, they might have a problem. 68 Psalms, the judgment is set, Zeregal.
Yeah,
The judgment is set and the books are open.
Yeah.
So all who deny the events and this fact of history, both God and history is going to be against you. You have to be
Well, I got a history, I go judge him as a man saying, or him say.
So they call it a preliminary. Go into the year.